What's up, guys? Welcome to DeathGroundReviews. So today I've got another movie review for you. And this is a movie I've missed over the years, and that might be kind of surprising. It's a fairly popular movie amongst the, sci-fi body horror subgenre. And I missed it. I've been meaning to watch it for a long time, just kept getting sidetracked in other movies, but I finally sat down and watched it, and this is John Carpenter's The Thing from 1982. And I'm excited to tell you what I think about it. So, The Thing was directed by John Carpenter. Screenplay was by Bill Lancaster. And it was also based on the short story by John W. Campbell titled Who Goes There? The film starred Kurt Russell as R.J. McReady, Wilford Brimley as Dr. Blair, Keith David as Childs, Richard Mouser as Clark, and T.K. Carter as Knowles. The story takes place in Antarctica, where a group of American research scientists are disturbed at their base camp by a helicopter shooting at a sled dog. When they take in the dog, it brutally attacks both human and canine members of the camp, and they soon discover the beast can assume the shape of its victims. The crew engages in a gory battle against the creature as it picks them off one by one. So, to state it simply, I loved this film. I was engrossed from start to finish. As you know, I love the body horror subgenre. I love stories about strange mutations and horrifying transformations. And this film just fits right in that category. And it was just so intensely suspenseful. You're constantly guessing who's the next victim, feeling that sense of paranoia right along with the characters. Another thing I felt made this film work so well was casting Kurt Russell as, the resourceful and tough-minded R.J. McReady. Kurt just, as an actor, brings a lot of charisma to the movie as a whole. And but in that character, he brings this kind of dogged charm that I think works really well. And I also loved Childs, Keith David playing Childs alongside him. Because Childs, his character, he has a lot of stubbornness too, but he's a lot more temperamental and belligerent as a character, and it adds a greater sense of volatility to the whole situation in the movie. And I thought those two together worked really well in adding to that suspense. But of course, how can I talk about The Thing without mentioning Rob Bottin's special effects in the movie, right? I mean, they're kind of like the main attraction. They're gory, they're very well detailed, they're this perfect mix of gross out and horror. And there's the one scene that first comes to my mind when I think about it is that first examination scene, where they toss the corpse on the examination table and all this steam is coming off of it. It's this twisted conglomeration of gnarled limbs and distorted heads. And I remember that first moment, I was just like stunned. I was like, whoa. I thought that was a great moment. And I think the film, it was all practical effects. There was no kind of CGI or anything in it. And I in some ways, I like the practical effects more than CGI, because there's sort of this concrete tangibility with practical effects that sometimes gets lost in the CGI. My favorite moment, though, as it concerns the special effects in the movie, is that moment when the doctor is using the defibrillator on the guy that's fallen unconscious, but his body's been infected by the monster, and suddenly his chest and stomach opens up, and morphs into these jagged teeth and bites down on the doctor's arms, ripping him off. That was a scene that definitely had me jumping and going, just, oh, gross. I loved that moment. But it all, just blends together so well. The lighting, John Carpenter's use of camera angles, and Rob Bottin's special effects. It blends so well together, creating just this very atmospheric and moody and gritty style of a film. And the ending of the film was also very interesting. I want to discuss that. And I guess I better say it. Spoiler alert. I'm going to spoil the whole ending. If you're somebody like me that went all these years without seeing the movie, and you better cover your ears now and stop listening. But, yeah, I found the ending to be interesting. It leaves you wondering still who is the one infected. You have McReady and Childs. They're the last men standing. And I've heard some theories about how you know who's infected. One theory says it was Childs that was infected at the ending. And the claim is that there's a gleam you can notice in his eye that shows that he's infected. And the one who made this theory is a guy named Dean Cundy, and he was the film's cinematographer. And he's the one that proposed that theory. But John Carpenter says he doesn't know if the theory is true, but he believes viewers, can figure it out by watching the movie. But in fact, John Carpenter said this in an interview in the comicbook.com. He said, quote, "Dean Cundy doesn't know. He has no idea. He puts the lights up, and we were in snow. He has no clue," end quote. So I would like to hear your guys' thoughts on this. Let me know in the comments who you think is the one still infected at the ending of the movie. And I'd love to hear your reasons why you think that. Another thing I'd like to hear your opinions about regards the themes of this movie. It's obviously a film about paranoia. It's about group psychosis. I think these themes resonate well in our time now. We had the COVID-19 pandemic. We've also, as a society and culture, have become far more polarized and tribalistic. And that theme of who goes there, that paranoid question of who goes there, from the original title of the short story, just really fits these turbulent times. And yeah, let me know in the comments section your thoughts about these themes as it concerns this movie. That concludes my review of 1982's The Thing, directed by John Carpenter. It's a movie I highly recommend. Do check it out. And this is DeathGroundReviews, the monster that devours horror, suspense, and all those things the fantastic. I'll see you next time.